Hey everybody, welcome to Monday Night Live in Lexington, you guys. My name is Catherine Kaufman, and I'm a psychic medium here in Lexington, Kentucky. Welcome to my every Monday night show. This is Monday Night Live in Lexington. It's a live talk show, so feel free to just chime in with whatever you want to say or ask in the comments. We'll be doing a few shout outs, and then we'll get on with the content today. Shout out to Melissa Begley and my favorite cat, Miss Cleo. Kisses to Miss Cleo and Melissa. Hey to Taya, George McKinney, and Jennifer Welch. Hey, how are you guys? Ricky Elkins, Priscilla, Tracy. Thanks for joining us this evening, and hi to all you guys over here on Instagram. And a shout out to Yasmin Jadoon. So tonight's content is going to be, do houses have a spirit? And I mean the actual structure having its own spirit. That's what we're talking about this evening. Not does the house have a spirit in it of an entity or a ghost or something, but does the entire house have its own spirit is what we're talking about tonight. Hey to Rob Turner and Rocky. Thanks for joining. Now, for those of you guys that are on my professional page, Catherine Kaufman Psychic Medium TV, if you want to join the live chat, use the link in the box there that I left for you, and then you can just hop over here to the personal page and ask your questions or join in the chat. But if you just want to hang out there and watch the show, enjoy. Hey to Patty O'Brien up north and Liz Mays Bertram. Thanks for joining me. And a shout out to Melissa Arthur Woosley. Over here on Instagram, hey to Bob, Kendra, Housebroker1. Thanks for joining. So, what do you think? Do you think houses can have a spirit? Shout out in the comments on the personal page. Let me know whether you think that this is possible. And then we're going to go over what I've kind of looked into and dealt with in the last 25, 30 years. Hey to Melinda and Ina. So my thoughts on this are that houses absolutely can have a spirit. I've been on many house walks and property walkthroughs where I actually felt the energy of the place itself, the spirit of the place that I was in. So Laura says, yes, she believes so. I do too, Laura. For those of you over here on Instagram, shout out, see what you think. Do you think that houses have a spirit or houses can have a spirit? And I'm going to do some quick waves to you guys over here. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. All right. How can this possibly be? Because structures are not sentient, right? So George says most definitely energy. It is a type of energy, George, and we're going to get into what exactly. But doesn't your house really speak to your energy or how you are? And you can just walk into a house and tell whether it's a happy house or not, just from the environment that you get when you walk into a place. So you can kind of sense the energy of the place, but still that's not sentient enough to be an actual spirit. Hey to AJ and Barbara and Donna, thanks for joining. So what I was thinking when I was trying to go through this in my mind, if this was possible or not. And over the years, I've thought, yes, you know, I have really felt that some houses had a sentient spirit, or they, you know, some houses don't want you there, you know, and you can sense that when you walk in if you have abilities. Other houses are very welcoming, and it's almost like it's hard to leave once you get there. So I was trying to equate a person to the house, because we have a spirit, but how can the house actually have a spirit? And then I started thinking, the parts of a house are kind of like the parts of your body, really. The hearth of the home, all right, is the heart of the home. The heart of the home is where the love happens. It's where people congregate. They come together. Their emotions are shared. And that is the hearth of your home. So the hearth is your heart. That's the heart of the home. That would be, now in olden times, that was the area in front of the fireplace where the cooking occurred and they were gathering. Over here on Instagram, Kendra says they definitely have an energy. And let's see, we have another comment. Totally feel like houses have a spirit. Yes, absolutely. You're right. So these days, what's the hearth of the home? To me, it's where the cooking happens and the meals are prepared and everybody sits down and they kind of talk over the meal, or they're all cooking together. That's the modern day hearth, and that kind of replaces the fireplace of old times. I feel like the electrical wiring of the home is kind of equated to the brain. And you can tell if some houses are lit very well and they're light, and then other houses are lit dimly and they feel a little bit oppressive. So to me, the electrical wiring and the light is the brain of the house. I feel like the emotions are equated to the plumbing of the house, because water always carries the emotions, and any kind of water references are equated to a lot of emotional content. So I feel like the plumbing and the water of the home is equated to the emotions of that spirit. The next thing is, I was thinking about, the person's skeleton, your skeleton, you can equate that to the framing of the house. Is the framing solid? Is it weak? Does it fracture? So, all of these things kind of mimic or mirror the body. The lungs are equated to me to the heat and cooling, or the airflow of the home. And that's the energy flow of the home. Is it clean and fresh, or does it feel stale and kind of dusty and dirty? So all of these things kind of are mirroring the person themselves. And so you really have kind of a body, if you will, in the house. Let me check for questions. Hey, to Jennifer, Tim, Teresa, and Christy Osborne Glass, and Mary Cummins, thanks for joining, and Brenda. Hey, over here to Instagram, and all you guys, you rock for tuning in tonight. And I'm especially stoked to see Nice Rock Shop. Thanks for joining me. Share some pics of your Nice Rock Shop. I would love to see those. Okay, so what is the feel of your home? What do you think your home says about you, or what do people say about your home when they come into it? What does the feel of it? What do people sense from your home? What does it say about the people living in it? And I just want to go over a couple of things that I wasn't aware of, but these were very enlightening to me when I found them. So a red front door means that you're not afraid to say what you think, right? A blue door means you're naturally at ease in most situations. A green door broadcasts your traditional values. For those of you, I have a green door, but that's not what it means to me. The green door on my home means that you're entering into a restorative, refreshing area, which the vibration or the color green kind of portrays. So I kind of don't agree with the traditional values thing, but that's okay. Black means you're probably consistent and reserved. Now that I do agree with. Extroverts tend to choose open, spacious, less furniture layouts. And if you're introverted, you probably are decorating with soft, solid colors and muted patterns. And so what you're doing is you're establishing, with these things, you're establishing the energy of the home. So its personality is going to be reflected by how you portray it, what energies you're putting into that home. One of the surveys I looked at, and this was from Britain, reds and pinks seem to spice things up, while beige and white may inhibit intimacy. So paint your room red. Those who make their beds in the morning, this was interesting, are more likely to enjoy their jobs and exercise regularly rather than people who do not. And so what psychologists were saying was that people that are orderly were more happy. Not sure I agree with that either, but that's just what the studies show. Let me check for questions. Hey to Deanna, George, and Georgia. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so let's check for questions over here on Instagram. Hey to Moon and Nani and Flat Pretty and more. Thanks for joining us this evening. So a lot of things that you put into your house kind of establish the energy of the home, or imprinting the general feel of the home. So you're actually, when you're living there, you're giving it the personality already. Then we have to look at what kind of things are really imprinted onto objects. So number one, trauma is imprinted onto objects. And if anybody here follows the Haunted Items Hunt on my Facebook page, this happens the second Sunday of every month. I post 4 pictures. 2 of the pictures are items that are imprinted with some type of energy, and we call those items haunted. And 2 of the other items are decoys. So you have to use your intuition to guess which items are haunted and which items are not. Now, a haunted item can be imprinted with extreme emotional type of energy or traumatic energy. And most of the homes that I've been in that have had a spirit, the imprint has been laid down by either extreme love for the property or extreme trauma. So trauma meaning murder, suicide. Was there a battlefield on the property before the house was even built? So what happens is these vibrations of these traumatic events have imprinted onto the property, and then you get that energy consolidating into its own spiritual cognizance, if you will. Hey to Mindy and Wes Ruiz and Jamie, thanks for joining us this evening. And Tori Lynn and Paige. Let me go back and make sure there aren't any questions above that. Hey to Kim's Garden Works and Chastity. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments section about this. The amplitude of the trauma actually imprints in the structure like cell memory. And what that does is it's sort of like, I kind of equate it to radiation at Chernobyl. The radiation is still at Chernobyl and you can't see it, but you can measure it. And it's palpable in the environment. And if you did not wear protection today at Chernobyl, you would probably have a lot of health problems and maybe even some serious things happen to you. So what happens with this trauma, and I think it's all to do with sound, because sound is produced by the bodies of the people that are experiencing the trauma. And so what the sound does is it echoes out and it goes through all the structures. Sound is the only thing that goes through the structures. Now, that's important because when we're doing a house cleansing, and a lot of people will do house cleansing and they don't use the element of sound in them, but we do. And the reason why is sound will permeate through every closet, through every basement, through every attic. We don't have to worry about, you know, did the smudge smoke go through everywhere and eradicate whatever's there? I know the sound will. And so that's one of the biggest things that we use on a house cleansing. So let me see, there's a comment over here on Instagram. We found out, and this is from Kendra, we found out that a man was murdered on our property over 65 years ago over a horse. Could this affect that part of our property? Yes, absolutely. And so what I would suggest, Kendra, if you are trained in either using a pendulum or using dowsing rods, you could use those to determine exactly what area was affected by this entity being there or a traumatic imprint. And your dowsing rods will most likely reveal if there is an area or there isn't that has been kind of tainted by that traumatic event. So that's a big tool to use in finding out whether or not an area has an energetic imprint of trauma. Thanks for all the hearts and the likes. I really appreciate that. Hey to Margaret, and Ina says, what sound do you use? Ina, the best thing that we have found to use is a Tibetan singing bowl, and because it produces a vibration resonant energy sound. And if anybody has ever used a Tibetan bowl, you place it on the hand and you ring it, and the vibration, you can feel the vibration on your hand, and you can also feel the vibration if you just place your hand up next to the bowl. And those vibrations will travel through every structure that you have, so you don't have to worry about, you know, not getting to every area, because let me tell you, entities will pull back to areas that you can't get to stay. They will pull back to corners you can't get to. They will pull back to closets that you can't get in, or attics that you can't get in, or basements that people don't go in. And they just kind of hang out there until the cleansing is over, and then just they wait till the energy attenuates before they come back out. And so sound has been a big part of having successful house cleansings. Now, one thing that you can do is you can get a singing bowl and use that once every 2 to 3 months, and just go through and energetically reattune the energy of your home. That's one of the best things that you can do. And it's so easy. You could just ring that thing and go through the house. Just walk through the house and let that sound ring all the way through it. That's what I suggest. Hey to Kathy Warner Hardin. Okay, let's continue on. So what I'm thinking about homes that actually have a spirit is this. Many collective thought forms out of a lot of emotions are produced, and let's just say your house was built on a battlefield, and you have all of these collective thoughts of fear, aggression, anger. Those collective thoughts or those collective sounds actually conglomerate into a mass, and this mass becomes cognizant of its conglomeration. Okay, so what happens is this thought form is created from all of these thoughts and sounds that are coming from the soldiers. Now, it wants to stay in its conglomerate shape. It needs a host. And you remember at the beginning of the show, I went and told you how the body equates to the structures of your house, right? Your hearth of the home is your heart. The electrical wiring and the light is your brain. The emotions are the plumbing of the house. The skeleton is the framing of the house. The lungs is the heat and air and the airflow of your home. This thought form plugs itself into that structure, and it actually becomes kind of a sentient thing. I know that sounds crazy, but this is the way that I'm kind of trying to explain to myself how sometimes when I go through a property and do a property walkthrough, the house feels sentient. It feels like it has a personality. It will kind of repel you or welcome you. You can feel when a house is angry, especially if you have abilities, and things will happen in a home like that. Is very haunted, but it's haunted by the thought form that's plugged itself into the structure. So what do you think about that hypothesis that I've come up with? So Georgia says we have to use the singing bowl and sage every 2 weeks. We're a couple of blocks from a battlefield and Charlie and I both absorbing all types of energy, seriously needed. Yes, that's the best thing that you can do, Georgia. Even if it is every 2 weeks, just go through with your sage and your singing bowl. The singing bowl works the very best. If I had to pick one or the other, I'm going to go with the singing bowl every time, because nowadays, more and more, I'm getting reports from my clients that saging is not working anymore. Why that is, I am not sure exactly, but thank God for the singing bowl is all I've got to say, because so far, knock on wood, it has been able to eradicate 90% of everything we deal with. There are some things that we deal with that cannot be fixed. If you build your home on a graveyard, that cannot be fixed, okay? You can't fix that. I don't care how many sagings you do or how many singing bowls you work with. If you build your house on a graveyard or a battlefield, that cannot be fixed. The imprint is in there so much, and the energy is so high that no amount of stuff that you can do will overcome that. So thought forms are kind of rudimentary type of spirits. And so the spirits in the home are sort of rudimentary unless they've been allowed to exist in the environment for a very long time. Some haunted houses have complex thought forms, and so their spirits, if you will, are advanced and are no longer rudimentary. But these are usually homes that are over 100 years old or close to 100 years old. So let's see, a couple more shout outs here. CW, Sharon, Jennifer, Leslie, Deanna, Wayne, Marin, and Paul Manning. Thanks for joining us. And hey to over here, Dustin, Felicia over here on Instagram. Thanks for joining me. Let's look at what else we can do in the last 5 minutes that we have. How can we fix this? Okay, let's say your property has a imprint of a traumatic event, kind of like Kendra was saying over here on Instagram, a murdered person in that area. You certainly could use the singing bowl. First, you're going to find out where exactly this spirit is located. What's the central part that it's dwelling in? Most often, I find that the spirit of the home is really located above you. Okay, so that's going to be the attic or the upper rooms of the home. Why that is, I'm not sure. I haven't ever felt the spirit of a home in the basement. It could be that I just haven't experienced enough houses that have an actual spirit to say they can't be in the basement. But for me and what I've done over the last 30 years in going through property walkthroughs and historic walkthroughs, most often I feel like the spirit is higher up. And I think it could be because there's like sentient thought going on. And that kind of equates to me to the brain and thought being higher than the other limbs of your body. So it's just equative to that. So Beth Ann says, I moved into a home in the 1930s in the Kenwick neighborhood 6 years ago. I knew from the moment I walked in the house it was a happy place. Yes, you know what? And I want to mention that, Beth Ann, I'm so glad you brought that up because, you know, we usually talk about traumatic events and then the house is angry and the house has a bad spirit about it. But remember at the first of the show, I was saying a lot of sentient thought forms are created out of love. And that energy stays in the home because the two are attached. Like the thoughts and the feelings of the people that live there created the thought form, but it's a happiness thought form. And it becomes attached to the house because the house is actually what produced the emotion. And so if the creators of this or the people that live there are no longer living, they're either still there in spirit and keeping that thought form going, or they've crossed on over and have left the thought form behind. And so you're going to get a really happy feeling and a welcoming feeling when you go into a house like that. And it just seems to open up and put its arms around you and just really welcome you in. Hey to Emla over here on Instagram. Thanks for joining us this evening. It's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while, and I'm so happy to see you here. So hey to Mary Margaret. Thanks for joining us. It's good to see you too. So Ina said, would a murder that happened across the street affect your home? Very good question. Yes, it can. You have to look, Ina, at does your house have more things about it that would attract spiritual energy? Let's say the house across the street where the murder happened or tragic event, the trauma is imprinted there and the thought form or the spirit is existing there, but the energy from your home, let's say you have crystals there at your house, or you have a big yard of limestone at your house, or you have a water feature, or there are things that that entity is more attracted to in your home, or you're a psychic, or you have strong abilities. Yeah, you bet they're going to come across the street, say howdy, and use your crystals and your, you know, water feature or whatever. Absolutely, they're attracted to things just like we're attracted to things. So absolutely they will. Hey to Jasmine. Roger says, so that happy feeling is an echo from the past. Interesting. Yes, it is an echo from the past, and not only an echo, Roger, but a lot of really projective emotions that go past the aura kind of, and if they do that for a long period of time, they conglomerate into a mass, and that is the actual thought form that's created. Now, most often we kind of associate thought forms with negative emotions, but they can be produced by positive emotions as well. So it doesn't have to be a negative emotion. But what I want to get across, if you're trying to remove some negative spirit that has become your home or was in your home before you got there, you have to do repetitive retraining of the environment. The way that you're going to repattern the energy of the environment is you are going to employ feng shui. Feng shui is huge to eradicate a negative house spirit, okay? So I suggest you guys bone up on feng shui. It's really, really important in repatterning the energy of the home into a positive way. And it's going to have to be done repetitively. Like if you, what I suggest is you go through and you rearrange the furniture. Do not put your furniture in the same pattern of the previous owners. No, no, no. That's a bad thing to do. Repattern the furniture, repattern the flow of the energy through the house, and then you're going to change the color vibration. Remember, red really brings vitality and living energy into the home. Study that feng shui. You need to know what colors to use where. But repatterning the energy is huge. And then use that sound therapy, revibrate, repattern that energy. You can also use solfeggio frequencies here. If you don't have a singing bowl, you need to play some solfeggio frequencies off of YouTube kind of loudly in the house so that vibration goes through the wall. Hey to Mark James over here on Instagram. Beth Ann has another question. This is a very interesting subject. Thank you. I was reading about the grocery store in our neighborhood, and the people who lived in the upstairs apartment were involved and convicted in the murder of a few back in the 1980s. Yeah, Beth Ann, be careful. Those things can come over to your house. So you want to put up psychic protection. If you have abilities, if you employ crystals, if you use anything New Age, please put up psychic protection or use your singing bowl to keep things out. One of the best things to do for psychic protection, and this is what I particularly do, is I have selenite wards over every single window and door in my home. That keeps out any type of spiritual energy that would be invasive to me, and I absolutely have to do this out of self-preservation for who I am and what I do. So it's really, really important. If you guys need any crystals, I'm going to give a big shout out to Barbara Bacon and her wonderful shop out at Versailles. It's called Crystal Crazy, where you can find some absolutely fabulous, wonderful energy stones to protect your home, yourself, and your property. Go to her Instagram page, Barbara Bacon and Crystal Crazy, and take a look at some of the things that she has for sale. I highly recommend them. They have wonderful energy, and it's a fabulous place to get stuff to protect yourself and your home. So, Beth Ann, remember the La Fonda Fay case? Yes, I do. That is a very familiar name to me. And hey to Sheila Ray. But sorry, guys, we are out of time. It is 7:30, and the rest of the night is Mr. David Hicks's time. So I'm going to sign off right now. Don't forget that every Friday I do a free reading here on Facebook. It's called Fun Friday. And so tune in and make your pick and see how the weekend is going to go. It's totally free. And then also, in case you guys didn't know, I do a free astrological forecast on my Facebook page and Instagram every single day. You can find out what the moon is doing and how it affects you. What's the mood going to be like today? So tune in every morning and find out what kind of day it's going to be for you. It's called Planetary Influences, and it's on Instagram and Facebook every single day. And then Fun Friday is every single Friday. Don't forget, second Sunday of every month is the Haunted Items Hunt, and you get to choose what items you think are haunted and what items you think are not. And then also, there's 2 tickets left for this weekend. I'll post a link. I'm doing an ancient mound walkthrough, you guys. I'm going to be teaching one-on-one with the people who have tickets for this. It's the Mount Horeb Ancient Mound. It's out Mount Horeb Pike. Only people who have tickets are going to be allowed to come for my teaching. There's 2 tickets left. I will post a link. If you want to come and evaluate a medium walkthrough with this, come out and do it. We're going to be there from 10 to 1, and I'm going to show you everything, how I do a walkthrough. We're going to go over equipment, pendulums, dowsing, the whole bit. And so I will hope to see you there. But it's going to be a lot of fun. This is a once-in-a-lifetime event. So kisses from Kentucky, and I will see you next Monday night for another episode of Monday Night Live in Lexington. Bye, guys.